Okay, well, we've got us a good one over here at Never Satisfied's Garage. We've got a 1979 Chevrolet Silverado. '10 series. Actually, it's a Scottsdale. It's got the 350 in it. .7 liter. $19.79. Four barrel. Pretty sharp little truck. Got some paint fading off of it. It's got a little bit of rust in the front fenders. We can fix that, no problem. Got us a set of wheels back here in the bed. You know it's getting lowered. But I don't know how long it's been since it's run. The gas smells awful. We've got wires hanging out from under the dash, and we've got fuses laying on the floorboard. We've got a brand new battery in it, and it won't do anything. We do have lights. But we've got some melted wires here, and somebody's been doing some rewiring. We've got issues. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what road we're getting ready to go down on this one. But we'll go down it and we'll get there. We'll make it happen. All right, so I've got a sneaky suspicion that I'm not getting any power going into our steering column. So I've got some stuff tore apart here. Some wires hanging down. I'm getting ready to drop the column down just to start doing a little bit of testing to see if I've got power actually coming into that steering column or not, because you gotta have power coming in before you can send it back out. Okay, back on the 79 here, we are making some progress. I have got, let me get my flashlight here. I'll try to show y'all what's going on a little bit. I've got the steering column dropped down partially, and the ignition switch out of it. Somebody has put a new switch in it, but there's no power going to the switch. Somewhere we have lost our power. So I have, with that red wire right there, I have jumped 12 volts over to the switch, and the dash lit up, fan motor came on, things started happening, but I still could not get any power down to the starter. I've got a source coming out of the switch, but it's not making its way down to the starter motor, which the starter motor was bad anyway. I put a This starter right here, bench tested, doesn't do a thing. So there's two problems. A lot of times that's hard to believe, but it really is. There's two problems. We've got no power going to the starter and a bad starter. So I put a new starter on it, and I've got our remote switch hooked up to it. So let's put our ground wire, our ground cable on our battery. And you'll see that the motor will turn over. Sounds good. And what's even better than that is we did get it to run off a bottle. I bottle fed it and it ran. And for some reason I didn't have the camera turned on, so I missed out on filming that. So I'll come back later and film that because I'm out of fuel right now. And I don't have our switch fed, so I don't feel like going through that right now. But you will see that. You will see it start. It's only been, what I found out, like 2 years since it's run. So it's not been that long since it run. So no big deal really that it runs. Although I don't know if we're getting any fuel from the fuel tank. We'll have to go through that process as well. But now that we know that it runs, I guess I'll probably go ahead and get the wheels off of it so I can actually set the truck down a little bit lower and climb in and out of this thing a little better to get my wiring fixed up so I can get the column back together, and we can start this thing with the key. Okay, so I did find that the main power feed to the fuse block and down to the starter was burnt. There's a fusible link supposed to be here. I'll have to get a link, but it was burnt. Replace that, and we got power on the fuse block now. I'll put the column back and the switch back, and we've got key power now. So my plan is to now get the fuel line loose, see what kind of junk we're pumping up here, if anything at all. And of course, the whole thing's gonna turn. All right, so we are squirting fuel. I don't know if I get a picture on that or not. I don't have my tripod. Yeah, looks pretty clean too. We'll pump her on up and see if it'll run. Yeah, I got the fuel line hooked back up. We'll get the choke open. See if we can pump this, get some fuel in this. She's running. I squirted some starter fluid in there to get her going. 60, 50, what's it say there? About 50 pounds of oil pressure. I believe that carburetor's screwed. We got fuel coming out of the top of the accelerator pump there. Well, she's a runner. Fuel coming up from the tank. That's running off of the tank. I've got fuel leaking out of where the accelerator pump goes in. That carburetor's kind of screwed. I think it wouldn't fill the bowl until I put some starter fluid in it. But I mean, it sounds good. Got about 50 pounds of pressure. Oil pressure. Well, we are back on the 79. You heard it run the last time. We did order a carburetor for it. I haven't seen it yet. I think he ordered a replacement quadrajet for it, probably. We found a online source that's remaking these, and this, I'm sure it's a Chinese knockoff, but they seem to be working. They seem to be an exact match. So it's really the cheapest, quickest thing to do when you're just trying to move vehicles. Comes with different size jets. Electric choke. And yeah. So yeah, there she is out of the box. So they got a new gasket in here. Got I don't know what in the world that is right there. I think it's a carburetor adjustment tool. You got the different size jets in here, which we probably won't mess with that any. I don't want to. I gotta ask him where he sourced this from. I don't know if it's brand new or remanufactured. Probably brand new. All right, it's a very cold day, cold morning here in North Carolina. But I guess the show must go on. So we've got the 79 running, we've got it lowered all the way around. Now I'm getting ready to notch the frame. I've got my marks here made. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out and get these notch kits bolted in. So as usual, I cut the bump stop out along with the frame. That's what we end up with. The relief for the axle, and I'll knock that notch kit right in there. notch plate, then drill my holes. I've showed this procedure many times, so if you want to see the detail of cutting that notch, you can go back and look at one of my videos that details that. So you got your notch plate in there, no problem. Now you just go drill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes, 2 from the bottom, that's 8, and bolt it in. I know a lot of you guys prefer to weld it in and everything, but we found that this works pretty good, and it holds up over time. So what I usually do is I use a step bit like that. It goes all the way up to a 1/2 inch. That's the size bolt that I'm putting in the hole, is a 1/2 inch. So works perfectly. I'll go ahead and get my pilot hole in there. Then I'll squirt a little lube just to help it cool the bit a little bit. And then I'll just step bit right through every one of those holes. This bit here has lasted for a long time, actually. I'm surprised. I think it was a Harbor Freight step bit. But if you try to keep your bit cool, it'll last a lot longer. First hole drilled, go ahead and put my first bolt in it. That holds all that in place, keeps that plate from walking around any and moving while I'm drilling. Alright, we've got this GMC going. No, Chevrolet, my fault. We got it all lowered, we got the wheels on it. We've been through a lot on this little truck. We just put a thermostat in it and got the carburetor all tuned out. He's going to go put a little drive on it and bring it back and make sure we ain't got any leaks or anything like that. It's a good looking little truck.